Hi, these comments are for CL, and I am Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com. And you're doing some speaking practice, right? You also have a question, a grammar question about subject-verb agreement. So maybe let's take a look at this first. You say, Michael, please listen to evaluate score and provide feedback on my independent speaking practice test 1. And the question here is, what do you think is the most important thing parents should teach their children? Please include details in your response. You say, I have another question regarding subject-verb agreement. So it says, patients are used to undergoing major invasive surgeries in order to remove tumors, but minimally invasive surgeries are on the rise, which provides a better recovery for patients during the post-operation recovery periods. So your question is, why is this sentence grammatically right with which provides instead of which provide? You know what? The sentence is not grammatically correct. What you're saying is correct. You're correcting the sentence. I agree with you. So I don't know who wrote it, but the one test that I do is I'm going to separate the two sentences, right? And we can kind of see okay, so if I look at it, it says, but minimally invasive surgeries are on the rise, right? Period. And what does which mean? It means these invasive surgeries. That's exactly what it means, right? So once I substitute these invasive surgeries for which, I can see that provide is correct, right? So surgeries is plural, the verb is plural. So your instinct is better. This is probably a TPO website or something along those lines, and they're not always completely accurate. And believe it or not, subject-verb agreement, even among native speakers, is not 100% certain. We sometimes have some doubts about whether to put a plural or a singular verb, but I think in this case, in my opinion, there is no doubt at all that provide is better than provides because of which refers to surgeries. So that's my take on that. All right, so let's get ready for your speaking here. Okay, I have the independent speaking rubrics here, and I already forgot what the question is. What do you think is the most important thing that parents should teach their children? Please include details in your response. So this is an important one. So what's the most important thing, and then why is that important, right? That's kind of what you have to focus on there. Okay, here we go.
This is because that we are in.
Let me go back to the beginning one more time.
I think the most important thing that parents should teach the children is not to be afraid of failures. This is because that we are inevitably.
I would put is to not be afraid of failure. I would put the infinitive using the preposition and then the base form of the verb there.
Going to face with a lot of failures in our life, and it is easy to succumb.
I would say in our lives. I would make lives plural because R is plural, lives can be plural.
Come to these failures and not try it again. So, for instance, when I was a young boy, I tried to ride a bike and I failed miserably several times. Just failing from the bike and hurt my knees. And the idea of giving up actually came across my mind. However, after intense conviction from my parents.
Yeah, I was looking for that. You have to show how what happened, and maybe you were afraid to ride the bike again, but your parents were able to convince you to keep trying even though you had failed. That's what I was looking for. And right in that area there, you had some pacing problems.
To try again, and I was glad that I did, and now I'm able to ride a bike.
Then you could put this, and now I was able to succeed by learning how to ride a bike, and that'll tie a little bit better back to the beginning of your response. Okay, let me listen to it one more time, and I'll give you a score. I'm thinking maybe 24 to maybe 26 points. Let me listen to it.
I think the most important thing that parents should teach the children is not to be afraid of failures. This is because that we are inevitably going to face with a lot of failures in our life,
Inevitably, you
and
could
it
say.
is easy to succumb to these failures
Good
and not
word,
try again.
succumb.
So, for instance, when I was a young boy, I tried
I
to
like your
ride a bike
transition
and I
word.
failed miserably several times. Just failing from the bike and hurt my knees. And the idea of giving
Wait a minute. I got to check your grammar there. Let me check it one more time.
So, for instance, when I was a young boy, I
Okay.
tried to ride a bike and I failed miserably several times. Just failing from the bike and hurt my knees. And the idea of giving
So falling from the bike. I would put falling from the bike and hurting my knees. I would say it that way. So falling and hurting, keep both of those what we call present participial verbs.
up actually came across my mind. However, after intense, conviction from my parents
This is where you
to
have the
try
pacing
again,
trouble.
and I was glad that I did, and now I'm able to ride a bike.
Okay. Let me check that last part. I want to make sure you put your be verb in
And
there.
I was glad that I did, and now I'm able to ride a bike.
I didn't hear it. Now I able to ride. No, now I am. Now I am able to ride a bike, or now I am able to ride a bike. I am able. I didn't quite hear that be verb in there. You might have said it, and I didn't pick up on it, but I listened to it a couple of times. I think you might have omitted that. Okay, so let's take a look at the rubrics. Yeah, I'm not going to give you 26. I'm going to say 23 to 25 points on this. So you ran into some pacing issues with your delivery. I think you had one or two minor language use issues also. So I'm going to say 23 to 25 points out of 30 on this practice test.